Hello, it's Dawn Michelle and welcome back to my channel. And you knew this video was coming, didn't you? I have no chill. Okay, so we're just gonna caveat this whole video with I have no chill because I have here the sample copy edition from my very dear friend Lisa Pepez. And am I going to be super biased about this deck? Absolutely. Am I going to be completely gushy about this deck? Absolutely. So just know that going in, because this deck is so infused with the energy of my friend that it's an automatic love. However, it had some very personal tie-ins for me too, which was fantastic. So I am going to try to stay on topic. We are going to go through this beautiful deck. I do have a sort of sample version of the guidebook. This is not the final version of this guidebook, nor the final version of the deck. These are all test prints. So I'm really excited to share this deck with you. This is not a first impression video. Not only have I looked through this deck, I have used this deck, but it is back in order so that I can share it with you today. This deck is currently funding on Kickstarter. I think we have about a week to go left, so definitely go check it out. I think we've met all of the stretch goals, most if not all of the stretch goals at this point. And I say we because anytime Lisa and I talk about her deck, we always say we. Anytime we talk about any of my projects, we say we, or any of her projects, we say we, because we just tend to we together a lot. So just know all that going into this video, that I'm definitely coming at this video from a place of this is my friend's creation and I love it. We'll take a look at the little guidebook here at the end, but like, you know me, like we got to jump into cards, right? So here's the beautiful backs. There's going to be so many extras on this deck in terms of the added bonuses because of the stretch goals and whatnot, but the artwork is still the same. So you'll be able to see that. It's going to be on a different, much nicer card stock, but you'll be able to see the layout here. I was very blessed to be able to watch this deck kind of come into creation. So I have an even deeper, I think, personal tie to this deck and to its creation because I've been there from the get-go with it. And so it's really fantastic to like hold it in my hands. So here we have the Fool with Mystic, little ladybug, y'all. Little ladybug. All right, I'm just gonna flip through the deck. This deck is absolutely gorgeous. We're gonna follow Mystic's journey through kind of stepping in to who they really are, learning and discovering about themselves and their journey as they go through this entire 78 card experience. Mystic with the Deer Empress, like I'm gonna try really hard to actually stay focused and not like get all gushy over all these cards, but there are so many of these cards that really have such a personal tie-in for me. Like look at this Hierophant. The cave has like cave paintings on it. I mean, the attention to detail, and I know the amount of work and effort that went into the creation of this deck, you know, not only the beautiful artwork that Francesca did, but also the level of intentionality and symbolism and everything that Lisa put in. It's just amazing. I mean, this is an amazing card. The choice with the two different paths for lovers, I love it. This Chariot, every time this Chariot card comes up in a video, I always go right to this is my childhood right here, because I grew up riding horses. I grew up in the horse show circuit. I did stadium jumping, cross-country dressage, and like this is just my childhood. And I think that is one of the things that this deck really connects to me on a personal level. It is about Mystic becoming a unicorn and their journey, which reflects our own, right? But there are so many cards in this that take me back to that time and place in my life. I talked about this card in many videos with my members as well, because this card, like this was me. This was me coming over, going to the ranch like every day after school and taking care of my horse and riding. There's another card that's like, this was me bathing my horse every day, right? This is the other one I was talking about with my members that I used to take, like legit used to take my homework to the barn, to my horse's stall, and I would sit in front of their stall and do my homework while they just hung out and like nuzzled and whatever, you know, like it's just, I just can't. This death, the leaving the childhood behind, it's so symbolic. And now we see, you know, Mystic beginning their own journey, right? Like the Devil, we have the broken fence over here. I have no ability to be objective with this deck, y'all. This deck almost, like, every time I look through it, it almost brings me to tears every time, because it just is such an emotional experience to work with this deck, to watch Mystic go through this transformation. I mean, in the star, like, we can see they are bridled, and we can see the bridle still reflected here in the water, but there's the unicorn horn, the hint of what is to come, of what they're going to become, what they have the capacity to become. Like, it's just, it's so beautiful. I love this Sun card. And this Judgment, this portal energy and the Judgment, like, so good, so good. Stepping through to the other side into this magical world. And then we're going to move into the minor arcana. So we have the Ace of Fire. So Lisa has also put in little suit emblems at the top. So to help you relate to, know that fire relates to the suit of wands, because this deck approaches the suits broken up elementally, but they all do relate to our traditional symbols that we see of wands, cups, swords, and pentacles. So here we have the Ace of Fire. And the 2. I love the storybook quality of this. And we see here, and I've talked about, I shared with Lisa this whole story. Like, I have a hard time not going into personal details with this particular deck, because this deck just so speaks to me on a personal level, on a deeply emotional level, probably for a lot of different reasons, right? Because my friend created it, because this story, Mystic story, really invites us to step in and explore our own story of how we become. And that it's such a huge part of my personal work and my personal practice. When I first got this deck, I was telling Lisa a story about this little unicorn here. How I wrote a story in my, like, very early 20s that had a unicorn that looked very similar to that. And it just, like, I went down a rabbit hole, because that's what this deck does for me. It like really invites me to not only explore these cards through Mystic story and through the use of story, but also through my own experiences and how I have, worked hard to become who I am, and the journey that I've taken to get here, and to know that, like, that journey's still not over, right? I still have lots of work to do. It's very hard for me to really focus on this deck and take it, like, just as it is, because there's so much personal layer here. There's so much feeling and emotion that's wrapped up into this deck. And I really don't have the ability anymore to separate the deck from my own emotional attachment to it. And so I apologize for that, because that means that this review is not going to be, very, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not going to be like super balanced or really like cut and dry, as in here's what the card is, here's what it's depicting, here's what it means, right? That's not going to happen with this deck with me anymore, because I've had it for almost a month now. I have looked through it many times. I went through it the first time with Lisa. I went through it again with my members. And then since then I've used it. And so I've started developing a personal attachment to it. So this is not a first impression, because it's definitely not my first impression of this deck. I've worked with it, I've connected with it on a deep personal level. And now this is me trying to articulate that into something that is, watchable. I really love the suit of water, again, relating to the cups with these little sort of kelpie figures. Like, it's just a beautiful deck. All the little water creatures. I love that every suit has its own sort of unique set of creatures. I think that's really cool. I love this 9 of water. This Mystic, this little illustration here of Mystic is in my planner. It's great. I really, really love the court cards in this deck too. I think that Lisa did such an amazing job, and Francesca illustrating it, but creating the idea of the courts, and it works so well in alignment with how I read the courts, because I don't tend to read the courts as people, and I tend to read them more how the energy is moving across a reading, and I can work with that really well with the illustrations in this deck, and that's really fantastic, because it's not always the case with all decks. So here we have our suit of air relating to the swords. So cute. We're going to watch Mystic with this little egg now. And each of the minor arcana, like each suit tells a little story. It's all a greater part of Mystic's larger journey, right? Of their exploration of becoming. But in each suit, we see a little story unfolding. So like here's Mystic, and there's the egg. It's just an amazing experience. It's an amazing deck. I really love that this deck allows me to pull my own story into mystics, this is like, okay, this and another card, they're one of my favorites in the deck because I absolutely love this callback to the unicorn tapestry. That's such a significant and iconic piece of imagery, and the meaning behind it and what it draws in, I just absolutely love that as a reference in this deck. There's our 9 of air with all the bats. I love that one. And our 10. Our page with the little fox, and the use of color. The use of color in this deck is really great. This so kind of gives me like Thothy vibes, and I kind of like it. Kind of like it. Queen of Air. Such a beautiful card. I mean, all the cards are beautiful, but okay, now we're going into my favorite suit, the Earth suit, the Pentacle suit. I absolutely love the way that this suit is depicted. I love all the creatures in the suit. It's definitely my favorite because we have these chunky, furry little unicorns that just give me such cute aggression. I want one in a plushie so bad. I'll show you the card that I want exactly the plushie of. But we also have these little like gnome creatures who are super cute, like little elfy gnome guys, and like we're down here in the caverns. It's just with collecting all the crystals. It's just such a great little story. And this one, like, oh, doesn't that just like pull at your heartstrings, right? Mystic out in the cold and everybody's inside, but the door's open. Like Mystic can come in, the door's open. I love it. And these little creatures, oh my goodness, the little gnomey creatures. They're so adorable. Such a good deck. So cute. There's our 10 of Earth. Not me hurrying, trying to get to my favorite card. There it is, the Page of Earth. This is my absolute favorite card in the deck. Love this one. I want a plushie of this unicorn so bad, like so bad. But I just love everything about this card. It's like, again, cute aggression, but it's so good. It's so good. I do really like the Queen of Earth in this deck too. But I feel like this is like, you know, because I always say the Queen of Pentacles is my significator, right? But I feel like this is my inner child. So I really love that. I really love that. So there's our King of Earth. And then we have our 2 bonus cards, so the Light and Shadow, which this is an amazing little combo here. I love this. Okay, so I did the thing, I did the walkthrough. I don't think I detoured too much. I definitely want to do a few pairings. Although I'll be honest, I have not really worked with this deck with pairings. I've just been really working with the deck itself, tuning into Mystic Story, thinking about how Mystic Story relates to my own and the things that I'm going through. But I do want to try some pairings with it because, you know, that's tends to be how I use my decks. So we're going to take just a quick little peek at the Unicorn Journey Tarot Guidebook because this is not the final guidebook, right? This is just a little sample printing that we did. And again, I say we, I'm terrible about that. But Lisa and I both do it, so I feel okay about it. Like, it's my project, it's her project, but it's all our projects. So we do everything together, essentially. So every card here has the information about the card. We have the upright with keywords, the reversed with keywords. I did that backwards, but the reverse message with keywords. And then everyone has a self-worth message. And like, when I tell you, y'all, this is amazing. I love that, like, it's Lisa Pepez color-coded, right? That's signature Lisa Pepez. I love it. I love it. Let's just read one. Let's read our, where's my pentacles? Where's my pentacles? Green, there they are. Let's read my little Page of Earth, just so you can get a feel for how the messages are in this book. Like, y'all won't be surprised that they're amazing, right? So it says the Page of Earth. Oh, let's find the Page of Earth. Where is he? Let's find our little Page of Earth. There's our little Page of Earth, and we are going to just take a moment and read from the guidebook. Again, keeping in mind that this is a prototype, doesn't necessarily reflect the final version, but I just want you to get a taste of the messages. So the Page of Earth couldn't wait to get to the mines to help and eventually collect crystals of her own. But first she needed to know how to identify the stones and how to mine them without damaging the natural structures they grow on. So to the books she went to do her due diligence and ensure that she could prove that she was ready to help the others in the caves. In the RWS Page of Pentacles, a young man stands in a grassy field holding a golden pentacle. Here, the sweet little page stands at her desk with her crystal specimens and books. This image portrays what happened prior to the Two of Earth, where the page was seen in one of the caves carrying baskets of crystals across a precarious precarious bridge. Studious and resourceful, the Page of Earth likes to know what she's getting into before she gets into it, so she will study and prepare. She's also incredibly resourceful and will make use of any and all tools she has at her disposal. The Page of Earth also appears in the Two of Earth. So for our upright keywords, we have diligent, grounded, detail-oriented, resourceful. And the upright message is, you know what you want and are willing to put the work in to get it. This is a great time to focus on details, leaving no stone unturned in the pursuit of your goals, but make sure you keep your expectations realistic. Love that. So the reverse message is perfectionist, insecure, unrealistic, and overcritical. You may think that you're just being thorough, but you're so hung up on making sure every single thing is perfect that you're preventing any progress at all. To get back on track, stop trying so hard to meet some impossibly high standard and recognize when your efforts are good enough so you can move forward. I do want to know, I don't read reversals, but I read reverse messages when cards show up in shadow. So I love that that's in here. And then we have the best piece, which is the self-worth advice. So whenever you're learning something new, it's normal to feel a bit out of place, like you don't belong. But the truth is, everyone who has ever become an expert started out by being a beginner. Embrace the beauty of beginning. This is fantastic. Also, when I work with this guidebook in the deck and I'm not personally reading it aloud, I hear it in Lisa's voice, which just makes it all the better. So yeah, great little guidebook. I mean, it's just perfect to accompany this whole deck in this journey. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a shuffle and then we'll do some pairings. This is just a sample version, so it's not the final card stock, so I'm not really going to touch on that at all. I'm just going to give it a quick little shuffle and then we're going to grab some decks to try pairing it. So the first deck I'm going to pair it with is the Mushroom Spirit Oracle. Here's the backs of that deck, just so you can see them. I really love the kind of like succinct keyword on this deck, but also like to me, mushrooms just, they feel kind of a little bit like magical and kind of take me to a different sort of place. They're very rooted though, very grounded, very rooted. So I feel like this is an interesting combination that would really bring both of those two energies together. The story of Mystic, but how we ground that and root that into our own state of being. I thought that just might be a fun one to play with. So we have the wrinkled pink mushroom. This one does have the whatever the mushroom is, but then there's a keyword underneath, which is excellent. So the keyword is unique between the Tower and the Page of Water. That's really interesting. So just flip through a couple of these. Dead Man's Fingers with timing between the King of Fire and the Ace of Water. Interesting, between the beginning of things and the end of things, right? That's an interesting sort of energy. Shrine with the Ghost Mushroom between the Magician and the King of Air. Those are really cool. We have Defense / Balance, and then we have that between the Five of Earth and the Seven of Earth. It's an interesting imagery. Also, are you seeing the like there's a circular pattern here, a circular pattern here, and a circular pattern here? That just something that jumped out at me. So you have Isolation between the Fool and the Nine of Earth. Interesting. Fertility, Ten of Air, Knight of Earth. I feel like these work together fairly well. It's not blowing me away, but they work. I think it would work as a succinct focal point, but I'm not sure that it completely energetically gets what I would want with the Unicorn's Journey. Like, it's not quite getting there. Did we already do that one? Stagnation, Seven of Air, Ten of Fire. Red's popping out across those. All right, let's try a different one. Okay, so now we're gonna pair it with the Gateway of Light Activation Oracle, which is the actual name of this deck, but what I call my portal deck. So here's the backs of this. I wanted to pull this one in because, like the Unicorn's Journey Tarot, this deck has a very significant energy, meaning, and purpose in my practice. So I thought it would be really interesting to pair these two energies together on a very personal level. But let's see how they just work energetically and in terms of the messaging. So we have Halls of Learning with Spirit Guides, Confirmation, and Great Lessons between the Ace of Fire and the Six of Earth. Obviously, the art styles are completely different. The Portal deck is digital collage, and the Unicorn Journey is digital illustration. So they're a little bit different art styles, but I think they actually work together. I think the colors are going to be really compatible too. Here we have the Temple of Truth with Throat Chakra, Authenticity, and Self-Expression between the Hanged One and the Eight of Water. That's really interesting. Also, there's like a water thing going on here too. Looks to be a water thing. I think it is. Ancestral Realm between the High Priestess and the Queen of Air. Oh, I kind of like that. The Memories of Atlantis with the Three of Air and the Wheel of Fortune. So this is about spiritual acceleration, progress, and technology. That's an interesting portal to step into. I do feel like the Gateway of Light activation provides like the portal that I'm going to step into to meet Mystic in their world. So I think that's kind of cool. I kind of dig that vibe. Even though they're like kind of sit in different spaces, they're both decks that have a lot of personal significance to me. And like portal energy is a part of Mystic's story. So I really love that idea of pulling that portal energy in even more succinctly into the readings. I think that's going to be a really cool mechanic to play with. And I think actually they do work really well together. I'm kind of liking it. I wasn't sure because they definitely have different sort of energies. They have different sort of art styles, but I do feel like the Activation Oracle or the Portal deck is really creating an entry point into the work with Mystic's story. Oh, I really like that. The Emerald Tablet activation, cosmic ordering, divine alchemy, and conscious manifesting between this 7 of water and the 2 of water. That actually works really well. I'm kind of digging these messages. It's different and I like it. I like working with different. But it's also really interesting to bring in 2 decks that have a very significant personal and very unique personal connection for me and to pull them and bring them in together. We're going to do another one that has that very same thing going on at the very end. Crystal Skull Wisdom with clarity, divine healing, and higher vibration between the 10 of Earth and the Page of Earth. How perfect is this to have a Crystal Skull Oracle card in the center between our Earth suit, because the Earth suit features a lot of crystals. I think that's really cool. All right, last one for this pairing. Akashic Records between our 2 queens. Ooh, that's exciting. I like that one. All right, let's grab another deck. Okay, y'all, I totally just giggled when I set this card down. So of course I had to pair my deck with Lisa's deck because of course, this is like Lisa and I on the table. But like, what are we looking at here? A Bigfoot and UFO and unicorns. I mean, is this not Lisa and I in a pairing? How cool is that? Okay, so this is my Sacred Threads Oracle that I created. Like, sorry, nothing like a little bit of self-promotion in the middle of your friend's video. But really what I wanted to do was I wanted to pair my deck that I created that came from my very sacred place with my friend's deck who came from her very own sacred place. And I just wanted to see how these two work together. And the fact that we've got Encounter as the first card here, like I shuffled and just laid the deck down with the aliens and the Bigfoot. And then we have the unicorns. It was just cracking me up. That's just amazing. This is Lisa and I on a table. Like, how funny is that? So we have Imagination between Judgment and the 5 of Air. That's really cool. I've been kind of waiting to play with this combo to do it on camera because like it's been in the back of my mind that like I need to put Lisa's deck and my deck together and see how they play. I had a feeling that they would play together really well. One of the reasons that I wanted to create my deck in the style that I did was because I wanted it to be able to go with very illustrated decks. And I'm loving that so far. I'm seeing that that's working pretty well. Oh my goodness, look at this, y'all. Source, so that's the Cosmos, way between Wheel of Fortune and Death. Oh my goodness, that's kind of potent. Kind of potent. Obstacle with the High Priestess and the Knight of Water. Yes, I like it. I mean, my deck is also illustrated. It's digital illustration. Obviously, my art style is different than Francesca's. Like, she's a real artist. I am not. But I think they do go together pretty well. So Mystery with the 6 of Air and Strength. Yes, I like that. It's the Cave with Mystery. Solitude, Queen of Air, Knight of Air. Ooh, interesting. So Solitude with the Air suit. That's an interesting combo. We have Depth between the Hanged One and the Emperor. Decision, 8 of Water, Page of Fire. Like, which route do you want to go? Which decision do you want to make? You're standing at the crossroads. Growth with Ace of Fire, 3 of Fire. I like that. I mean, it's totally possible that I just like these because it feels like me and Lisa on the table. So this could be a very me thing, but I like the way that they're going together. I feel like energetically they're matching really well. So also we have like Lisa's Soul Tarot and my Soul Oracle. I mean, it's just like, to me, it's like a no-brainer combo, right? It's me and my bestie on the table together, which is amazing. And I really, really like that. But I do think the messages go together pretty well. I think the keywords are honing in pretty well on what a focal point could be in the reading. Like, are we gonna try a reading with these two together? We absolutely are, because I just have to. I just have to. It's gonna air my dirty laundry. It always does, but I have a portal card too, because of course I do. It's my transition card. And it's between the Empress and the Chariot. I mean, how perfect is that? That's kind of cool. Let's just do a few more. The Perception with the bat between the Sun and Temperance. I love it. I love it. Journey. King of Water, Knight of Fire. Definitely feels like both of these cards are invoking journey energy. I like that. Alignment. Oh, Compression. This is one of my favorite cards. It's a black hole. It's really about how pressure and things just get pulled into the gravity well, right? And it's between the Two of Water and the Ten of Air. I mean, that's kind of cool. Kind of like that. All right, let's just, for fun, let's just do a reading with these two, because I'm just kind of curious now. All right, so I'm going to give the Sacred Threads a little shuffle. I'm using the full-size edition of this, but the pocket edition might be really good too. And there's going to be a pocket edition of the Unicorn's Journey Tarot. I mean, I might have backed the full-size and the pocket on Kickstarter. And so I will have a pocket of Sacred Threads and a pocket of Unicorn's Journey that I can use together. That's going to be kind of amazing. All right, I'm going to set that aside real quick so I can give this one a shuffle. Again, keeping in mind that this is a sample deck, so it's not the final version. Mine, however, is, because I am way lazier than Lisa and I did not want to mess with the Kickstarter. I got no patience for that. Watching her go through that whole process, like, props to anybody who does the Kickstarter process, because the stuff y'all have to deal with is insane. So I have no patience for that. All right, so let's see what we got here. We are gonna pull a Sacred Thread for a focal point. Okay. What's our focal point? Oh, we got Stability with the Fuzzy Cow. I love the Fuzzy Cow, although it was a pain in the butt to illustrate, but I love the Fuzzy Cow. It's one of my favorite cards in the deck. The Fuzzy Cow makes me think of the chunky, furry unicorns in the page, in the pentacle suit, and I kind of am loving that. All right, let's see what our message is around stability. I'm just gonna pull 3 cards. I'm not gonna really assign any positions to them. I'm just gonna pull 3 to see what we get. So we got the 6 of Fire, the Chariot, very cool, need to move up so we are on camera everywhere. Like, the Unicorn's Journey needs to be the focus. And then we have the 6 of Water. That's really cool. So I have 2 6s. For me, 6s are like a transition period. They're reharmonizing after the disruption of the 5 in their suit. And then we also have the Chariot card here in the center of kind of that moving forward energy. But all of this movement, all of this change is really rooted in the idea of stability. So let's just jump into the little guidebook, and I just want to read the self-worth messages for each of these cards. I can go right to red, which is amazing, for the 6 of Fire. All right, so 6 of Fire, our self-worth message is, it can be challenging to stand up, take credit, and accept the kudos you deserve. This isn't the time to shrink back, step into the spotlight. That's kind of funny considering the conversations that Lisa and I have had. Like, these readings always air my dirty laundry. Like, it just is what it is. This is my dirty laundry. This is my imposter syndrome popping up, going, yep, who am I to do this thing, right? All right, so that's how I'm gonna take that. Let's look at the Chariot here and see what the self-worth message is for it. All right, so our self-worth message for the Chariot is, when your inner critic's voice, oh my goodness. Sorry, like, really, airing my dirty laundry. All right, when your inner critic's voice becomes loud in your mind, take back your power by reminding yourself why your goals matter. then run directly for it. Focusing on your why will give you the power you need to easily leap over any hurdles in your path. Y'all, when I tell you this reading is feeling like having a conversation with my best friend, I just can't. It's gonna make me cry. So spot on for stuff I'm going through right now. All right, 6 of water. Oh, what have you got for me? Because now I'm feeling like I just got called out, but I'm gonna root into the stability energy here. So let's look at what the 6 of water has for us. It's tempting to look at your past with rose-colored glasses. When you long for simpler times, the past can seem incredibly idyllic. But don't forget that you have grown and changed since then. You can't turn back time, and maybe that's for the best. Okay, I might need a moment because that was a super hard-hitting message and so on point for things that I am personally struggling with right now. So when I tell you that this deck, the Unicorn's Journey Tarot, has been a real significant part of my practice in the last couple of weeks, I'm not even exaggerating because it's my friend's deck, right? This deck just has such an amazing ability to just tap into whatever is going on right now. And for me, it really does root into a lot of my own personal struggles with self-worth, which is, seems very appropriate considering, who the creator is, right? What Lisa stands for and everything that she's worked to create and provide for us. And now we have that in a deck. And every time I pull this deck out, every time I do readings with it, it just really reaffirms my struggles with self-worth and how I can work through that, right? How I can process that, accept it, and move through that. And I really do actually love pairing it with my own deck because then that hits on such a deeply personal level, and that's probably a very me thing because that's my deck I created. This is Lisa's deck that she created, and it's just a whole experience. But this deck really has been a pretty significant part of my readings and my work that I've been doing over the last few weeks. And I haven't even, it's been really hard, but I haven't shared even with Lisa how I've been working with it because I kind of didn't want to verbalize it yet until I was ready to sit down here and verbalize it with you all, until I had a chance to really work through it. But it's been fantastic for working through struggles that I've had and to be able to see myself as mystic, as this is the story of becoming. And that is the core root of my own personal practice. It is the process of becoming, of me learning to be who I am, to step into my authentic self. And this deck just so succinctly captures that. So yeah, that's, oh my goodness, y'all. That's my very emotional, very personal, deep connection to the Unicorn's Journey Tarot. There's no way for me not to be biased about this deck. There's no way for me not to tie the personal into it because of who the creator is and because of what she means to me in my life, right? And so I take that with all of her energy, and oh my goodness, putting it with me and my energy is just, gonna make me cry. So as I mentioned, this deck is currently funding on Kickstarter. I think this deck has about a week left on Kickstarter until the campaign closes. It is fully funded. We have hit all the stretch goals. Y'all, we hit the stretch goal. There I go again with we. It was fully funded, I believe, in 3 minutes upon launch. And I think we hit most of the stretch goals at the launch party, which was amazing. I was so overcome with emotion during that whole experience. Anyway, if you have not yet picked up yourself a copy of this deck, I highly, highly recommend it. I'll definitely leave all the links below so you can go order yourself a copy of the Unicorn's Journey Tarot. If you haven't yet subscribed to Lisa's channel, I'll definitely leave a link to that below. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I look forward to sharing with you again soon.